Healthy St. Pete, we want to utilize this recreation center just as much as we can and have somewhat of a predefined courses that we can offer there. Instead of asking them, well, what are you going to offer? If we have courses, or you're a trainer, or if you know something that you would like to take or do at the recreation center, we'll be working with that through the next year. And with that, I'd like to introduce the Lynn Bittner. She is the recreation manager for Parks and Recreation for the city of St. Pete.
Okay. So I'm excited, as well as all of our team from Parks and Rec, about this project. It's, as many of you know that have been around a while, it's a long time coming, and it's the last of our recreation centers to be rebuilt or remodeled in the city. So we are really excited. It is still a small piece of property, and so even though it's going to be all brand new and all that, it's not going to be as large as a couple of our other sites, just because we obviously don't have the space on the property for it. But I think it's going to meet our needs and certainly be an upgrade from that little building that we used to have there. So we did start the demo in the end of August, beginning of September. I went by there on Tuesday, and it's all been flattened out. Makes it look like a huge piece of property, but we're going to cram as much as we can into that area. So this first slide is just kind of an overview, obviously from overhead and aerial view. And the parking lot down on the bottom right is the current parking lot area. And then you'll see the field, the green space area to the right there. That's going to kind of be our play space for the kids. And then you'll see kind of a play court, which will have a kind of like we had previously, a half court basketball. And then we'll have a playground. There's also going to be, just to the east of the basketball court, there'll be a picnic shelter area, and there'll be vending in that area as well. And then you enter via some stairs or a ramp that goes east and west there when you enter the building. If you look in the top left corner, that green lot, which is the one piece of property that we purchased a few years ago, right there, yeah, that's going to be overflow parking. So it's going to have some type of I forget the name of it, but it's not going to be regularly used for parking. So that's kind of going to be left as overflow in case we have, I don't know, a big tournament or something that happens there. But for the most part, that will just be overflow. Okay, so I know sometimes people ask me questions about why those 3 lots that currently have houses on them don't have houses on them. That was just an architect's drawing. There's no rhyme or reason for that, but that's just how they initially did it. So if you want to, can you move to the next screen then? Or you can, if anybody has any questions, I'll be happy to answer anything on the layout part. Okay, go back 1 to the first floor. Yeah, so if you see where the parking lot is and where they have the handicap parking spots, then you're going to enter just to the south of that area. So there's an overhang there, and you're going to walk up this ramp. You're going to walk up these stairs right there where you're pointing. And then right next to it is a handicap ramp that goes up and comes back around to the front doors. So this is going to be a 2-story facility with the gymnasium and the program rooms are actually on the 2nd floor. So this first floor is the open lobby area. That's in the pink right there in the middle. And the administrative offices are just to the east of that. So in that blue shaded area, that's our administrative offices. Then on the other side of the lobby, the green is our teen room and teen space that'll be in there. And then there is also kind of in that lobby area, there's a set of restrooms, 2 single-sex restrooms there. And so everyone who comes in the facility will actually enter through these front doors and be stopping at the reception desk, which is a little different than all of our other sites that have a pool. All of our other sites that have a pool, as you may know, it's a separate building and it's a separate staff that manages that facility. And so this one is new and different, and it's going to be one facility that connects the pool with the rec center. And so all of the staff, all of the patrons will all come in the front door. And if they're going to the pool, then they'll stop at the desk and head right straight out to those doors to the west side or south side, I'm sorry, of the lobby right there. So yeah, and so those doors will be locked. So you're gonna have to be buzzed into that area, and we'll get to the pool in a little bit. But then there's also, because it's a 2-story, there's an elevator right here in the lobby. I think it's the yellow part. I'm sorry, I'm on a little tablet, so it's kind of a little small, but I think that's the elevator right there. And then then the stairs are going up in that purple area right there. Okay. And then we'll go to the second story, then we can always come back. So if you want to, yeah. So the second story, when you come up the stairs, you are kind of right there in the middle where that little triangle looking thing is. And those are going to be cubbies for our kids' lockers. So you're coming up the stairs and you're going to enter these rooms. So the room at the far end, the little small, looks like a little conference room at the far end with the little tables and chairs on the west side there in the green. That's going to actually be a little small meeting room, small conference room. I kind of envision that being something that you all as a board might use that space for just board meetings, not necessarily open to the whole, it's going to be a space that holds probably 6 to 10 people in it. If right across from there is our one of the multi-purpose rooms, and this is going to be primarily our discovery room. And so like arts and crafts will be done in there, so there's going to be a sink in there and cabinets in there. And in the far end of that, you'll see the gray is a storage room. And it looks right there, it looks as one right now, but we have actually since divided this kind of in half, so that there's going to be 2 doors to that room. And that will give you all some storage for some of the equipment and supplies that were requested by the Shore Acres Board when we started this project. So I know y'all had some storage needs, so that's going to go in that space. And it's a pretty good size. I think it's maybe like close to 8 by 10. So it's definitely, I think, going to fit your needs there. Then down the hallway, there's going to be open to the area below. That's all just, 2-story high area right there. And then keep going down the hallway further. There is a multi-purpose room on the right there that's divided into 2. So they'll have a partition wall that opens up in the middle there. So we'll have either 2 spaces or 1 large space. And then if you look at the little purple room attached to that space, that's going to be our prep kitchen. It's not a fully functioned catering kitchen. It's more like a prep kitchen. It won't have the stove and big, because when you do the stoves and ovens, you have to have the vents and all kinds of stuff there. And we just didn't really have the space, nor really the need to have a full operating catering kitchen, but it will have a refrigerator, the ice machine, a microwave, all of the kinds of regular needs that most people have when they want to rent the building. And then just to the right side of that is just storage for tables, mats, and chairs. And if you come back out of the room, you'll see 2 sets of bathrooms there, men's and women's in there. And then if you come down further down the hallway, you'll see the entrance to the gym. So it's actually more towards the middle where we were at the beginning. Yeah, right there's the entrance to the gym. Keep in mind the gym starts on the 2nd floor, right? So it's going to go up 2 stories from that 2nd floor. And all of that design really was based on the park size and the parking number of spaces we had to have for the size of the building that we wanted to put in there. So when you go to the next slide, you'll see how it that gym kind of cantilevers over the parking area. Anybody can stop me when you want. Okay, this is the view of the building from Short Acres Boulevard. So this is that, this is the street right there in front. That's Short Acres Boulevard. And that's the look that you'll see from that angle. Okay. You can go to the next one then. And this is actually looking from the north facing south. So you'll see the stairs there in the middle that go up to the entrance, the 2-story glass there, that's the entrance. And then that ramp is also right there next to it. Right there is the handicap accessible entrance right there. So there's a kind of a triangular piece of grass, if you will, but it's elevated. So you may know that the city designates a portion of all projects to have art. So there's a couple different locations they're looking to place the art piece. It's either going to be in the 2-story lobby or potentially outside in that triangular space. Not sure what it'll be, but that's a big art project that goes out to bid, and a percentage of the project gets dedicated to that piece. And then you can go to the next one. Okay, and this is looking from let me get my bearings here. So this is kind of looking from the east to the west. So that that's on the left-hand side, that's the little shelter area, the basketball court, then this play feature here, and that's all north of the building. Okay. And then I think there might be one more or 2. And this is the area from the pool side. So this is looking at it from 40th Avenue Northeast. So that's where the old field was. That's going to be kind of the area where the pool is going to be now. Okay. And I think there's 2 slides going in too. So Rebecca, do you want to talk a little bit about the pool, and then we can open it up for questions?
Sure. So as you see in this illustration here, the pool is going to be similar in shape to the previous pool. It is planned to be a 6-lane, 25-yard pool. There will be 2 low diving boards just like we had before, and we will have brand new slides that are going to be oriented in the exact location that's indicated on this picture here. There'll be the flume slides that the other neighborhood pools have as well. The side where the diving board is will also have stanchions installed, so we'll be able to put starting blocks in and potentially host high school dual meets. If we were having Shorecrest or Canterbury or some of our public high schools, they would be able to utilize this pool. Closer towards the building, there will be cement built-in bleacher steps and some bleacher seating that would be there for spectators as well. Does anyone have any questions on the pool?
There's also some exterior, I think there's 4 exterior restrooms along the gym side of the building. And those will be all unisex restrooms, and 2 of them have showers and changing tables and all those items that you might want to have in the bathrooms. But there'll also be a pool lifeguard office all along that wall there. I don't know if we had one.
Yeah, I had a question. It looks like the kiddie pool's gone. Not that it's a big
Yeah.
deal to me right now.
Yeah,
My kids
that
are
was
grown
one
up,
of
but did we take that out?
We did have to do that based on just no space, really, to be honest. And it
Right.
really wasn't utilized a whole lot. In fact, I'm hopeful that this new pool will generate more interest by the neighborhood as well.
Yeah.
It's one of our least used pools in the city. So we definitely want to see, we're hoping to bring some new life to swimming at the rec center.
Absolutely. We're looking to reinvent this pool. It's been underutilized for a number of years. People are unaware of what programming is offered. And I think with it now being part of a complex where you enter into the facility, it's going to breathe new light. We're still going to have some limitations as far as the size of the pool and the fact that we want to offer swim lessons still to the community. But I think we can mesh with having lap swim programs so the adults can be engaged while their children are learning to swim, and then find different times that work for the community to come out and actually utilize the pool rather than the middle of the day when it's the hottest and families are often working. So we're looking to hopefully extend the season. We will be putting heat on this pool as well, where previously we didn't have that capability. We won't be able to chill the pool with reverse heat pumps just because, again, we're limited on size. So we didn't have a huge equipment yard that we have at some of the other facilities, but we've got some options to cool the pool to a more manageable temperature during the summer so that lap swimming and exercise can happen at this facility.
And I do think too, extending the season will help us out. We're so booked at North Shore Pool that if we can, offer some programs here and that are back or, one side or the other, it'll definitely, it's only a couple miles to North Shore. So we're hopeful that we can maybe get this going into not necessarily a year-round pool, but we'll see what the need is and what the capabilities are. So we're excited about that.
I think Kelly had a question.
I did, but Rebecca answered it. It was about if there's going to be any pool chillers. So thank you.
Could you please explain what a unisex bathroom is? Is it an individual bathroom or is it a multi-use bathroom that both sexes can use?
So a unisex bathroom is where one person would go in, or maybe a parent with a child, but it is not sex defined. So either sex would be able to use that restroom. The ones that are upstairs on the second floor, there's 2 sets of restrooms, and those would be your traditional men's room, ladies' room with multiple stalls within those spaces. So one of the things that we've been trying to do as we renovate and make changes to our facilities is to offer kind of those singular sex restrooms so that, a dad can take his daughter in and change her diaper, or the same thing with a mom and son. So that's been one of our goals at each of our new facilities or renovated facilities.
Yeah, I just want to say, I think extending the season would help quite a bit. The pool, I know while it's open, it's not terribly busy, but it's open for such a short period of time. It's hard to kind of get swimming there. It just seems to be open in the summertime. So I think that'll help. I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, I think we're excited just by the fact that we have the heating capability. It allows us to open earlier in the season when North Shore is running national level events and just overall busy in triathlon season. So I think we can divert some of that attention to this facility. And now that the campus is going to overlook the pool, I think it would be a shame to have the pool covered for 8 months a year when everything kind of looks down upon it. So.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's not very pretty that way either. So it's hard to make that be pretty. Was there one other slide or was that the last slide? I can't remember.
Oh, I think that's the last slide.
Okay.
When can we expect reservations for after-school programming?
Okay,
Open.
so the completion date for the center is December of 2021. So next December, about a year and a couple months. What we're not sure of just yet is whether immediately in January we'll be able to, redivert those kids, a lot of whom have now been placed at Roberts or at Willis Johns. We're not sure, depending on how that kind of comes into play. I'm not sure I envision us opening, day one for before and after school, but certainly by the spring of 2021 2022, we'll definitely have that following summer and be ready to go there. It'll kind of depend on the construction schedule, how it goes, whether we get in there on time, whether we have all those certificates of occupancy and all those things. So because what you're doing essentially is opening up a new center for licensing for childcare. So there's a long process of having them come in and evaluate the space and make sure you have enough equipment, and they'll determine how many kids we can accept into the program. So it's a little bit where they can't do a whole lot until it's almost ready to go. So we know what we think we want to have there as far as number of groups. When we were in the old building, we took 120 elementary kids, which was 5 groups at 25-1. Depending on, and we changed our ratio now with COVID. We don't know yet whether we will continue with a little bit lower ratio, but we definitely will be taking a good number more kids than we previously did, probably at least 50 to 75. But it just depends on what we decide ratio wise, and then the number of spaces that we have available to them. And that's besides the teen program. Teen program will have its own space and have their own, probably 50 kids in that program.
So we've had some questions about the ingress and egress to the parking lot from neighbors on our Facebook page. Can you please explain how that's going to work?
Do you mean this? I'm not sure which area you're talking about.
Especially on 40th Avenue.
Okay, so the entrance. So you see, and this I'm not sure was changed here on, you have the one entrance, which is on Shore Acres Boulevard over there, which is kind of where the one entrance is. No, it's a little bit further north. I'm sorry. So it's further north than it was. So you'll be able to come in and out of this entrance on Shore Acres Boulevard. You'll be able to go both directions. And then the exit, so the kind of the thought process is you would most likely enter through that entrance on Shore Acres Boulevard, go through the parking lot, most likely park right in that section where it's grayed out, and then continue on south and come around where the pool is and exit onto 40th Avenue Northeast. But you can't turn left there. You'll only be able to make a right-hand turn there. And that's because of the proximity to the traffic light, the stop signs there at the intersection. But back to the original entrance, you'll be able to go in or out in that area. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, hopefully. On 40th Avenue, you can't take a left into that entrance. Is that right?
That is correct. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I think that's what the scare was, is people taking a left on 40th Avenue and causing traffic to back up. But as Lynn was saying before the meeting here, the exits now aren't, when it gets really busy, there's a little bit of a jam there now with the current exits. I have a question. Is there going to be Wi-Fi?
I don't know yet. We are looking as a department into Wi-Fi in our parks, but we have not expanded to all of our sites yet.
Okay. And thank you for getting us storage for the Shore Acres Civic Association. We probably requested that a long time ago. And thank you, whoever requested it as well. Because right now it's sitting in my garage, and it'd be nice to move it out of there. And it's January 2022. The question I had was, we have meetings, and is there going to be chairs, the foldable chairs like there were in the other facility?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And AV equipment, audio-visual equipment?
There is not audio-visual equipment, I don't believe, in the upstairs multi-purpose rooms. Okay. There is going to be in that in the teen room, which was on the first floor, but that would be just for them to, watch movies or whatever. But I don't remember for sure about the upstairs rooms.
I had a question about the art installation, and because we had that temporary mural that everybody in the neighborhood loved, and was so sad. I didn't even get a warning when it was gone. I didn't get a picture.
We didn't either. Yeah.
It was gone one day, but everyone was chattering about it. And I know that there's going to be an art installation, for the new center. Will there be public input or survey in the community have anything to do with that? Or is that just go RFP and whatever happens?
It is public art. It's a public art process, but it is not, I don't believe it's not involving the public as far as selecting the artists and what designs it's a committee that meets. And so I actually been to like 2 of their virtual, so far they're doing virtual meetings. But there's a group of people on it that come from all aspects of the city, some from art and public places and local artists and that kind of thing. And I believe there's a council member on there as well. But it's a committee that does all of the art and public places at city facilities.
Is there a way that we could get a representative to proxy into that meeting, especially since it'll be our recreation center representing our neighborhood?
I don't know, to be honest. I can find out for you. I think the committee is preset as far as who's on the committee. I don't know that it changes based on where the public art is going in the city, but I can certainly ask.
Thank you.
So to Christy's point, 2 issues, art and the wall with the handprints. Is there going to be a wall abutting the overflow parking lot that we could possibly use to recreate the hand wall?
No, there is not going to be a wall there. Well, I think there's a fence that's right where you're pointing right there, but it's going to have greenery all around it. And that was kind of to help protect those neighbors across, 14th Lane and right next door. So there is not going to be an open visual wall for that purpose that I know of. Because we're trying to really surround the whole park. If you look at it, it's we're trying to put a lot of greenery in there, which is kind of protection with, you know, the view and also the noise and, you know, that kind of thing, for the neighbors.
Gary, this is Rich Doyle. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, Gary.
We can hear you.
Okay, just, you know, I've been here listening and I, first of all, I think it's an excellent design and a lot of thought has been put into it, which I think everybody's going to appreciate as gets to be used. Small detail, since, you know, I'll be asked about maybe someday, are the neighborhood homes going to have a wall up against them in all places?
So there's currently a wall now that I believe is staying up. That's along those houses to the west of the property, right? I don't think that wall is coming down, but again, there's going to be bushes and shrubs and trees all along that wall. And then to the north there, to the one house that's on the north side, there's fencing already there. Just a, you know, brown, regular wooden fence there. And again, it'll be fronted with bushes and shrubs.
Because, you know, I sat on the Development Review Commission for 6 years, and then the predecessor to that for another 6 years, many years ago. And the situations like this where you have something like a park or anything up against residential homes like this, you know, generally, you know, at all locations along every foot, you know, you really should, and not everybody, but not all the time, but generally, you know, we tried to have a wall there, you know, for noise purposes, and also because of the reality that fences only last about 10 years, and then whether or not they get replaced is who knows.
Right.
Yeah, well, there is that wall there along the west side, and I don't know if there's two fences to the north side or just one, but we would always want to have some type of barrier as well for our the kids that are in the program, just for safety and accountability and all that. So it's definitely a controlled environment as far as access.
If I may, Richard, during the process, we were told that the brick wall, the block wall that's there now was going to stay, and they were going to apply for a special permit to take that from 6 feet to 8 feet.
Right.
I mean, that would be an excellent idea, but I think just in general, you know, not to beat this to death, I mean, you know, in fairness to the neighbors, you know, I think, you know, every foot that abuts a residential piece of property should be a wall. You know, I may not be in the majority, but you know, that's my opinion.
Yeah. Do you know if that wall was, I thought they got the variance to raise the wall from 6 feet to 8 feet. Do you know if they did or not?
I do not know for sure if that, because
Okay.
I know that there was kind of an issue with adding onto the wall. Like, are you adding a, you know, another section of just like lattice fencing? I know there was some discussions back and forth, but I really don't know what the end result was. but there were some variances discussed with setbacks and all that kind of stuff, but
Okay.
I can find out as far as the height of that wall, if it's going to change at all.
Okay, our friends in,
And also, where, where it's going to be, I mean, how protected are the neighbors going to be?
well, one thing, Richard, when we were meeting with the engineers, we didn't prompt them, but they brought it up that, they've taken certain considerations in the design of this, including moving it towards the street here, in respect of the neighbors back here. So I'm sure they've considered it, and they did consider the fence as we talked before. That's a good point, Richard, to kind of look out for our neighbors here. I have a question about the if you wouldn't mind, right here, this fence, is this going to be open at night, or is there hours that this play area is open?
No, it's not going to be fenced off. It's
Okay.
just, it's more for when we're running programs as a barrier for the kids to not run out in the parking lot.
Okay. Okay. And then while I still have your attention, this area under here, I couldn't quite see what's under here, under I think that's
Yeah,
the
just an
multi-purpose
overview.
room.
Yeah. So our plan is to have some picnic tables up there as well, because the shelter down below, on that lower level where the basketball court is not really large enough to house all of our kids. If we have, 150, 200 kids there, we need kind of a couple different spaces to spread out just to serve lunch or whatever.
Oh,
So
okay.
that area up top there will have some picnic tables as well. And it's kind of a good area also, because it would be something where maybe parents who are waiting for swim lessons or a swim team, there'd be an area for them to wait for their kids.
Anybody have any other questions?
Yes, this is Rich Doyle again. I had, one area. I'll begin. The reason I used to be a consultant to the Pinellas County Parks Department, and their basic standards was, if you ever looked at their basic standards of how they built parks and in the standards I had to follow as I, did some park designs for them, it's way over necessary for most of the time. And I asked the county parks director at that time, I said, why is the standard so strong? And he said, well, Rich, he said, when the big storm comes through, the parks are going to be the last thing that get taken care of. And he said, that's why we have everything in the parks overbuilt. And along those lines, when the big storm comes through and, blows through and knocks out the first floor, how much elevation and how much are they going to be able to renovate and bring that first floor back, or because that's the one that's going to be blown out and so forth. And is it going to be something that can be brought back fairly quickly, or is it going to be
I'll go.
So one of the, as you may know, just based on the sea levels and, all that, this is higher up than the normal or than the current plan. So the base level is already going to be up like 6 or 7 feet higher than it was. So that will help, right? And of course, it's all going to depend on what type of storm comes through, how strong it is, all that kind of stuff. But what is nice is that most of the stuff on the first level is not the program space other than the teen room. So the gymnasium, the program rooms upstairs, the kitchen, all those kinds of things are on the second floor. So, assuming something catastrophic doesn't happen, like, I don't know, tear off the roof or something, the idea is we'd be able to fairly quickly come back up to operational. Now, it's not a hurricane shelter. It's not, it's not an area that, if everything around it is going to be flooded, it's not going to be able to be used like that because people wouldn't be able to get to it. But it is being built higher up so that we can hopefully have less issues with potential storm damage.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. And thank you for helping with parks across the county.
I had
Tell me.
oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. I could talk and talk.
Okay. Oh, during this, I kind of forgot what I was going to ask here. Anybody have any other questions? Okay, I don't have the chat up. I think somebody would probably put it in the chat if we had it. Lynn, did you have anything to add to this?
Let me see if I set all of my notes. Hold on. Shoot.
While you're looking for that, I do remember what my question was. They talked before about having this be a covered place for buses for the students, but then there was a conflict or something with the school board where they didn't, they want to pick people up on the street. Do you know if that got resolved?
I know that they still come into the buses that we pay for, which transport the kids to the after school program. Most of them come onto our property to drop off and pick up. The ones that are just general bus stops obviously would not be coming onto the property because it's considered private property, and the school system will not bring buses onto private property without, some kind of permission and variance and all that. And we don't really want the regular private or the bus stops that are just general coming through the parking lot as, as a regular daily occurrence. I know that they moved a lot of the current bus stops away from the entrance just due to the construction itself. So they moved them further north. Whether they change that or not we'll see in the future. But yes, you can drive. So this is the parking lot here at the bottom, although you don't see the stripes. That's the parking lot. And you could drive underneath the building to get out and go around and exit onto 40th Avenue.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm going to, if you're done with this, I'm going to stop sharing that. That brings us back to here. Lynn, it looks fantastic. It really does. It looks like it's going to be a great addition to our neighborhood. And as I said before, we're going to do our best to work with you and work with Rebecca to get the swimming pool, the best we can filled up and get people really using this recreation center because, as I said at the beginning, it's a great addition to our neighborhood.